Everybody, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about something really important. I'm going to be talking to you about scams on Vinted in 2026. I did a fair bit of research into this topic because unfortunately it happened to me a couple of years ago. So we're going to get into it. But obviously, as we all know, AI is all around, but it also means that the scammers will get more clever and they will, obviously try to get and hack our accounts and cause us major trouble. So I've got 5 ways that our scammers are operating at the moment in 2026. So the first one is I'm going to be looking down because as I said, I got some notes. First one is a QR code empty box, which is pretty much you buy something on Vinted. Normally it would be something really high value, maybe over £100 or even below. But what you do is you get a box. You may feel that it's quite light. Open it up, and there is a QR code. And what it does say that you need to scan the QR code in order to be able to get some more information, instructions, and all of that. So when you scan that, it will send you to a fake Vinted account where it will ask you to put down some personal information, bank details, and obviously this is a no-no because when they have that, they can get into your account, they can empty your Vinted account, they can get your bank details, and Vinted would never do any of this like QR code business. If you come across a scam like this, you need to report it to Vinted ASAP. And all of these 5 scams, you really need to get in touch with Vinted straight away. So that was the first one. The second one is the Royal Mail Ghost tracking, which has actually happened to me. This is how I, got scammed. I was actually quite new to Vinted at that point. I wasn't really selling stuff. I was actually mostly buying stuff. And how it works is that when you buy an item, then the seller will say, okay, this is your tracking number, and they will give you either a tracking number that was already used or just a dodgy tracking number that actually it will show up later on as delivered, and you will never get the package. What happened to me, I might have actually mentioned it to one of my previous videos when I was talking about scamming and being careful and savvy when it comes to Vinted, is I saw this strap jacket. It was like £35 absolutely, or I thought it would have been like £100. I knew it tax perfect, so I paid for the item, and then obviously I got tracking, and the time went by, but it was a few days, it was a week, and I still didn't hear anything. And this seller had no reviews, but I thought I would just give it a benefit of a doubt because we all have to start somewhere. And when I got in touch with the seller, no information, nothing. And finally, when I got the only thing that I got was actually a picture with this tracking number, because the tracking number that the seller gave me actually did say it was delivered, but obviously it wasn't delivered to me. So when I saw a picture of the item that was actually seller that sent me, it was a different address, and it did say that delivered. So that was obviously straight away a scam. But Vinted was really, really good because I got the money back pretty much straight away. But I did raise an issue with them, and then when I tried to look for the seller, I couldn't find the seller. So I think they struck him off straight away, or her off straight away. So yeah, so be careful. And to be honest, if I find it with Vinted, if it's good to be true, if you see something super cheap, it normally would be a little bit dodgy. So please be careful. Yeah. So that was the Royal Mail ghost tracking. Number 3 is AI phishing, which means you get an email pretending to be Vinted from Vinted to say that your item was kind of in the prohibited category, and you have to urgently click onto this link, otherwise your account will be deleted. Obviously, all of us, we don't want our account to be deleted, especially if you're a reseller and that's your livelihood. Then what we tend to do is like panic and think, wow, what happened? I didn't sell anything or didn't list anything. That would be prohibited. But what do? We panic. Whatever you do, if you get a link, again, please do not open it, because that's a phishing email. If you open it, it's likely there will be a malware. Again, they can get into your account, and just please be careful. Again, you need to report it to Vinted, and Vinted would never send a link to ask for any kind of, click on this link and give us your details and things like that. Is definitely a no-no. Again, so that was number 3 on the list. Number 4 is a triangular kind of a system fraud, if you like. So how this one works is, it is a little bit more sophisticated. So what you do is you buy an item. Very likely it would be a very expensive perfume, and or even like accessories for like various like branded vacuum cleaners, and you buy the items, but the seller actually doesn't have the item when they list it. So what they do, they might even use a stock image. That's why Vinted AI is very, very good at kind of stopping the fake images or stock images even hitting the listings. But what they tend to do, even very clever, it doesn't even have to be a stock image. They can just take a picture of the perfume and list it that they don't actually have the perfume. They don't own the perfume, but what they do, they use a dodgy credit card that could be stolen or any kind of, shady business. They use a credit card to buy the item. You don't even know about that, how they acquire the item, but few months down the line, you may get a knock on the door to say, uh, this item was purchased through this credit card, and you can seriously get into trouble. So as I said, this is quite a sophisticated one, but it just shows, scammers, they are very, very innovative. And the last one is a digital receipt, which is when a seller asks you to, let's say, give out your personal details, email, WhatsApp, messaging. So they want to avoid going through Vinted. So if they say, oh, I can send you the digital label, in your email, do not get involved, because they want to avoid Vinted, which means obviously something dodgy going on, but you're also not protected by Vinted. If you do anything outside the ecosystem of Vinted, then you will not be protected. So you have to be really, really careful, and it's really not worth risking your account over this. And not only that, as I said, they can get into your account, they can steal your personal details, they can empty your balance, they can take your money, they can even get into your like personal bank account. So it's really no joke. We all need to take this seriously. And you may ask, how can we keep our accounts safe? Obviously, reviews are very important. Although as I said it before, I tend to give, well, not nowadays, but in the past, I gave the benefit of the doubt of people without any reviews. I always read the reviews. I also look at the listings. If the listings looks like somebody's got like 20, 30 designer perfumes and no reviews, that would be like alarm bells ringing, because that just doesn't sound right. Or if somebody's got like, bottle of perfume, let's say £100, they are selling it to 20 unopened, it's definitely, it's a no-no. But how can we protect ourselves? So especially if you sell something that's high value. I mean, some people say over £100, but to be honest, even £20 could be, that is high value for, most of us. What you do is when you wrap it up, record yourself. Do not just take photos, but record yourself like wrapping up the item, putting it in the mailing bag. Put if you have to put stick like the stick labels on it, then record yourself doing that. If you have to take it to the impulse locker, record yourself doing that. So the most video evidence you have, the more protected you are, because then you will be able to present it to Vinted if there are any questions. So hopefully this video was useful for you. I really wanted to make it because I think it's important to be aware of all these scams. As I said, I looked into this quite in details, and I was really shocked by the sophistication of the scammers. But anyway, please let me know in a comment if you were unfortunate enough to be scammed. What did they do? Hopefully this Vinted sorted it out for you and you got your money back, or you actually stopped it just in time. But I do have loads of videos about Vinted because I think it's important to kind of stick together and support each other. So what I did in my last video, I actually told you about the items that are kind of banned on Vinted or shouldn't be sold, because again we can get into trouble. So it was good to see you all, guys. I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Have a good one, everybody. Take care. Bye for now.